Hi, this is a GMAT question from gmatquestions.org. 2 to the power 7 plus 2 to the power 7 plus 4 cube plus 4 cube plus 4 cube plus 4 cube is equal to which of the following here? As you can see in the answer choices, we have powers of 2, we have also powers of 4. I would go with powers of 2 here to solve the question. I'm going to turn everything into powers of 2, and then, if necessary, at the end, go back to powers of 4, or just stay right there. We don't know really what the answer is, but it's easier to deal with the powers of 2 than to deal with the powers of 4. Okay? So, 2 to the power 7 plus 2 to the power 7 plus 4 cube 4 times. Okay. Okay. So what we're going to do here is just to write down that this is the same as 2, because there are 2 of them, is 2 times 2 to the power 7. And here we have plus 4 times 4 cube. There are 4 of them. It makes sense. Okay? Now, this is the same as 2 to the power 1. If you don't have anything here, it just means 2 to the power 1, not 0. Okay? So this whole thing here is going to give us 2 to the power 8 plus 4 to the power 4, because you have a 1 here plus 3 give us 4. Now this is going to be 2 to the power 8. What is 4 to the power 4? We're going to turn the 4 into a 2. I didn't do it at the very beginning. It would have been a little bit of a waste of time. I waited until now. Now is the right time to change the 4 to the power 4 into 2 to the power of 2. Okay? I hope you understand why, because just I would have had to change all this. So 2 to the power 8 plus 4 to the power 4 going to be the same as 2 to the power. If you want, I can do it slower. 4, because 4 is 2 square, so it's 2 squared to the power 4. For some of you, I just go slower for you to understand what I'm doing here. So this is the same as 2 to the power 8. Now, exponent. This 2 has to be multiplied by this 4, so it's 2 to the power 8. Okay, great. So what is 2 to the power 8 plus 2 to the power 8? There are 2 of them. So it's 2 apples, 2 times 2 to the power 8. And this is going to give us easily 2 to the power 9. Okay, I hope you like this. 2 to the power 9. That is the answer. And it's D. Let's write it down. D is the correct answer. It wasn't that bad. Some of you would be tempted to do 2 to the power 7, which is actually 128 plus 128. 4 cube 4 times 4 is 16 times 4 is 64 plus 64. That would be a little bit harder, to do. You could probably do that. You could do that, again, using brute force. That's what I call it. And find the answer. But there is no guarantee. Sometimes the numbers get really big. In this particular case, yes, you could have done that. Just do here, 2 to the power 7. You have to know you have to know that 2 to the power 7 is 128, obviously, and then go from there. Okay? And you'll find that the answer here is going to be actually 512. I can write it down for you here, if you want. This is 128 for some of you. Okay? This is 64. So if you add all of these, actually, you're going to find that this is a 512. And 512 happens to be 2 to the power 9. Again, I'm just giving you a different way of looking at the problem. Some of you may have difficulty doing this. That's unfortunate. You really have to know the powers of 2. So in the case where you have no clue about these, you have to review them. This other option could be useful. Okay? By the way, I highly recommend you know the powers of 2. What I mean is to know that 2 squared equals 4, 2 cube 8, 2 to the power 4 is 16, to the power 5 32, 64, 128, 256, 512, 1024. I highly recommend you know all the way to 2 to the power 10, and 2 to the power 10 is 1024. Okay, because you see a lot of powers of 2 on the GMAT. And trust me, it's not very difficult to memorize because you just have to double. For example, to go from 2 and then you double it, you have 4, and then you have 8, which is 2 to the power 3, 16 to the power 4, you double 16 give you 32, which is 2 to the power 5, you double 32, it gives you 64, which is 2 to the power 6, and so on. So you just have to track maybe one of those, maybe know that 2 to the power 6 is 64. So 2 to the power 7, you're just going to have to double 64. And if you double 64, it gives you 128. I hope you understand what I'm doing there, okay? Because it is very important, I think, to know the powers of 2. And I recommend you know them all the way to 2 to the power 10. Okay? Thank you very much. This is a GMAT question from gmatquestions.org.